If you want some, come get some.
This is such good shit.
I am the visionary. I am a revolutionary. I am Seth.
You can cry. I can't give the stuff to Dusty, but I can give it to my mama. I can give it to my mommy.
Acknowledge me.
Lately, he just hasn't been.
What's up, guys? And welcome to another edition of Sleepy Ryan. He looks a little sleepy. Ryan with Rasslin with Ryan.
Come on, get the title right. Get the title right.
Come
on, bro.
It's your show.
Come on, man.
How's it going?
Nah, it's good.
You're in your house.
Yeah, we're in my house, a new location. His house is a bit busy at the moment, so I had to call an audible, but it's all good.
It's okay. We're doing a live podcast.
It's all good.
Live.
Yeah,
Exactly.
live. Our first live one in quite a bit.
Yep.
So, but yeah, today we're going to recap the week in WWE and do a little bit of a preview to WrestleMania. Now that we've found out more matches on the card.
Now, but before we go into that, let's talk a little bit about our trip coming up, Ryan.
Oh yeah.
In 2 weeks' time, WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. We will be out there.
Yep.
If you recognize us, feel free to say hi. Which I doubt you're going to recognize us. But,
yeah. Well, you can't
see this beautiful face right here.
You can't
see this beautiful face.
You can't
stop and say hi. We'll
So.
be at WWE World probably on Saturday.
On Saturday. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We might be interviewing people. Who knows? So you could be on the podcast.
You could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep your eyes
I bought
out.
a little microphone thing.
Oh yeah, that'll I've seen those.
Mm-hmm.
Is it one of those clip?
It can, but
clip?
I'm just gonna.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Definitely
better than recording with your phone.
Exactly.
So.
Well, it might be with my phone, but it's gonna be attached.
Yeah. But at least you have a microphone. You're not recording just from your phone's microphone.
Yeah, exactly.
So that'll be a lot easier. So
what are you looking forward to in this trip, Ryan? Are you looking forward to just being in Vegas gambling, or the big show, WrestleMania?
I'm honestly looking forward to WrestleMania because it's the GOAT's last WrestleMania, John Cena. So, and the fact that there's a high likelihood that I get to see him make history and win number 17 is honestly would be the best moment as me being the biggest Cena fan could ever ask for.
Absolutely.
Because it's just I've seen Cena before. I've seen him wrestle live, but I've never actually seen him wrestle in something so big and the potential to actually make history.
Right.
So I know I'm looking forward to it. I know he's a heel now, but I love it. I'm all for it. I love heel Cena. So.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And so it's kind of the equivalent of watching your favorite basketball team win or favorite team win the championship. Cena's going for number 17 here.
Yep.
All right, so let's see if he beats Cody Rhodes. Well, while we're on the topic,
he will beat Stardust, yes.
Let's talk about the third promo for Monday night.
Oh, yes. I think this was the moment everybody was waiting for. They're like, when are we going to get the war words? When are we going to actually get a back and forth and not just one guy talking over the other? Well, we finally got it. And, oh, boy, did they deliver or what?
Oh, yes. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. I like Cody, but for this, up until after WrestleMania, I'm not a Cody fan for obvious reasons. But I do have to give props to Cody. He did hold his own, better than I think most people expected.
Yes, absolutely.
But he definitely did hold his own.
Now you could argue Cody won the battle. Some people might say that. I might say that. Some people would say John Cena won the battle. Some people in red over here might say that.
No, you want to know the real winner?
Who?
The fans.
Oh,
the fans were the real winner.
We did win.
Yes. Because I don't think we expected it to get as personal as it did.
Right.
And the fact that it was those two really going back and forth and just and one thing I noticed, the crowd, Cena actually got the crowd to turn on Cody for a minute.
He did.
And you're oh, the Cody won it back. I really think because they were half and half, the whole segment, but then Cena really took control of the crowd.
Yeah.
Which I know is it's hard to do, to take control of the crowd.
Yeah.
Like that, but Cena did it to perfection, and You know, he actually did get a pretty. I know there are a lot of boos, but when his entrance music hit, he did get a lot of cheers
Well, it's
from the
London.
London crowd.
People love John Cena.
Yeah,
Last year at Money in the
yeah,
Bank, he
yeah.
came out to a massive.
Over the more recent years, London's loved Cena. Before then, they hated him, but
Yeah.
over the years, London has grown fond of Cena. So he did get a pretty good like babyface reaction. There were still a lot of boos, but
Yeah.
definitely very loud cheers, louder than we've heard in Brussels and Glasgow.
Yeah, exactly. So the meat and bones of this promo was, John Cena really calling out Cody Rhodes for being a nepo baby and saying that, they gave the company to his chauffeur.
Yeah, and he had to get his gimmick tattooed to show everybody,
Right.
you know, and it was the my favorite line of the whole promo was be like, I make empires for billionaires. All you've ever done is steal money from their kids.
Oof.
And like that, you could tell you could tell Koji actually he's like
Yeah.
he was trying his best to like not break, but you could see in Cody's face he's like, you
Right.
got me there.
Exactly.
And the one thing Cena did the thing. He didn't go the obvious route of like, oh, bringing up Stardust, bringing up his lips and all that other stuff. No, he got way more personal, like way more personal, and so did Cody. But like, yeah, I feel like Cena definitely got to actually be more of like a heel instead of dissing the crowd. He actually got to diss like
Yeah.
the top guy right
Well,
now.
right up until last Monday night, it was more of a feud between John Cena and the people.
Yeah.
You know?
And now this feud actually does feel like the road to honestly these last 2 weeks, the road to WrestleMania has really picked up steam lately.
Oh, certainly.
Like all the feuds have been picking up, and
Yeah.
you and I we were talking about it. We're like, these feuds are missing so much. Like like the only feud that had any like legitimate interest was Cena and Cody.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, now there's a little extra in all the feuds now.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, no, I love their exchange. I obviously think Cena won, but Cody, I will admit, Cody did give some good.
Yeah.
He did give a couple of shots at him.
Cena goes,
But-
Cena, you're still my hero. But would you say you're just an asshole or
You're also a piece of
shit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
Of shit.
One thing I got to give credit to John Cena for is like he's holding his ground because he's like, I live by these morals. He's like, see, he's basically saying like you all have to resort to profanity to get your point across,
Exactly.
and it's like I don't.
Yeah.
I can get my point across without having to use profanity, and it's true. So I like that. Even though Cena's a heel, he's still sticking by his morals. He's still sticking to like the old John Cena way.
Yeah.
Like, he just says it as it is. He doesn't have to resort to any profanity or anything like that. So, yeah, there is like a lot of good lines between the two.
Yeah.
So, I know what your favorite line was.
the piece of shit one?
No. The other one. He's like, at least I never got you can't wrestle chance.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that one got like a good reaction out of the crowd.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good shot, but also at the same time, it's like, bruh, Cody, he hasn't gotten you can't wrestle chance in like 13 years.
Also, Cena has, like you said, has had what 2 5-star?
One 5-star
matches?
match.
Yeah.
Cody's had 0.
So, but altogether, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens at WrestleMania. We have 2 Monday Night Raws left, so let's see how they book it.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, so where were
We have Ryan's dad in the back. It's
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
yeah, it's okay.
All good.
Yeah.
No worries. Yeah. A cameo from my
if you
parents.
want to be a part of it, it's okay
Yeah. A cameo from my parents. There's my mom. Yeah. Yeah. A cameo from my parents. So, but yeah.
Anyways, now we're going on to from Cena and Cody to Gunther and Jey Uso.
Yes, and they did the thing. What did I suggest that they do? That he goes after Jimmy in some way to get Crash Out Jay, and that's exactly what happened. And boy, he left Jimmy a bloody mess.
Mm-hmm.
He got zip ties, and he zip tied Jay to the rope so he couldn't move. And like, yeah, I think that really picked up this feud.
It really needed to pick up because for a month, 2 months, it's been the same thing. Jay had a match. And then
Gunther comes out and
Gunther would come and attack him.
Put him in a sleeper, yeah.
And then Jay's, questioning himself. Can I do it? He tripped and fell one week, there's some other things that happened that made him question, could he really do it? And so Jay Uso now finally being able to show some real emotion here with Gunther attacking Jimmy, the King Jimmy.
Yeah.
What is it? What, in the song, what does he say? I'm a king.
I was born a king.
I was born a king. But Big Jim.
Big Jim. Yeah.
Big Jim.
Left in a bloody mess.
Yeah.
You were saying something like, we haven't seen blood on weekly television in quite some time.
I remember last time.
At least not to the capacity we saw it.
Yeah, on a Monday Night Raw that we saw blood.
Yeah. Because we've seen it on like some of the on some of the PLEs.
Yeah.
And there's been the occasional time you see it on like Raw SmackDown, but it wasn't like to this extent. Yeah. Where Jimmy's face is like dripping in blood. Like it felt like the Attitude Era for a second.
Kind of, yeah.
With how much blood was dripping. It was kind of reminiscent of Stone Cold's face dripping in blood when he was in the sharpshooter.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it gave off that vibe, and just in terms of how much blood there was and how it looked.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I think that's what this feud needed. It needed a jump start, and I definitely feel like this helped jumpstart that because I'm hoping this means we get more like serious Jay.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed is this past Monday Night Raw, he actually didn't like the crowd was doing but Jay wasn't. Jay actually just ran straight to the ring to help his brother. Yeah. Okay. So I noticed. So it's making me wonder, like, are we going to see a more serious Jay up until WrestleMania?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope there's a seriousness about him, and he's super focused. And obviously, this whole feud between Gunther and Jey Uso has been months and months and months in the making. It lately has plateaued, but I think just adding a little bit more spice here towards the end. Can go a long way.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens, what they do. They have 2 Monday Night Raws left, like I said, and how can they build just that little bit more of interest and intrigue?
Who knows
to get us to that match?
Well, one thing that I think would be cool is if Jay loses it and he takes out Gunther and leaves Gunther laying out. I feel like that would be that good. But we'll see what happens.
Or we can crash out Jay even more. Have Gunther attack Rikishi.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh yeah, that's what you were saying. To go to his house and Gunther could be like, I did it for Rikishi.
Yeah.
I did it for The Rock.
Exactly. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
What else happened on Raw?
We had AJ Styles and Logan Paul confirm their WrestleMania match.
That's been kind of meh to me, but I assume they're gonna have a great match.
Yeah, I definitely think their match is gonna deliver, and but I'm with you. The build has kind of been meh because it's more like they've mostly just done like a lot of talking.
Yeah,
and it's basically like the same old like, oh, I don't wrestle for free. Like you guys don't deserve to see me wrestle.
Right.
Exactly. I'm a premium act.
Right.
But anyway, AJ Styles is gonna beat that bum Logan Paul at WrestleMania.
That bum.
So Logan Paul's a bum.
Did we ever talk about how you hate Logan Paul?
Yes. Yeah. We did a whole episode of how much I hate, The Rock, Logan Paul, and others.
For no reason, really. For
no reason. No, Logan Paul's an evil human being. So is his brother.
Evil human being.
Yeah, so is his brother.
Wow. Strong words from a fairly strong man, as you can see here. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that, and then what else?
The Intercontinental Championship situation between Braun Breaker and Penta.
Oh yeah,
mixed in with Finn Balor.
The ending was flat. I did not like that ending.
Yeah,
especially for it being the main event. I did not like the ending. Although it did confirm that there will be a multi-man match for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah,
which I think we predicted.
Yeah,
but so there is that.
Well, next week, not to go further, but next week we can give our predictions.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Official WrestleMania.
Yeah. So tune in for that next episode. Get that. Then,
but going back into the Intercontinental Championship match, you have what? So Braun the champion, Penta. You have Finn and Dom. Is that the 4? Or
I think that's more? Who maybe there's still 2 episodes left until Mania, so who knows? But as of right now, it looks like those are the 4. Because they've been teasing, tension between Dom and Finn.
Yeah.
So it'll be curious to see what the payout to that will be.
Maybe at WrestleMania we see Aleister Black.
We'll get into that when we talk about SmackDown.
Yeah.
But what else happened on Raw?
I think that pretty much covers Monday Night Raw. We can jump into SmackDown.
Yeah, SmackDown. So SmackDown, there was a lot of hype behind SmackDown this week, and I actually think it did deliver. Because we had CM Punk open the show in Chicago. Yeah, in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. You know how Chicago loves themselves some Punk.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, grabbed the camera, and told the WWE Universe. They said that the best audiences were overseas.
Yeah.
Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I like that the Chicago crowd got really loud. Because Chicago is one of the few cities in the States that goes crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I think and not just because we were there, but Los Angeles, that's another good wrestling city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Obviously, Madison Square Garden.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. All the big, cities are usually great crowds.
Exactly.
Like, I know when I went to SummerSlam in Las Vegas 4 years ago, the Vegas crowd is pretty loud.
Oh, yeah.
And this was even still with everybody wearing masks, but the crowd was really loud, especially when Becky returned and Brock. The crowd went crazy.
Yeah.
So Vegas is another good crowd. So I feel like we're gonna have a great weekend of of a crowd in Vegas for WrestleMania.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
But so the main story on SmackDown was obviously the favor.
Yes. What is this big favor that Paul Heyman owes to CM Punk?
Yeah. So they built to it all night, really. Roman Reigns showed up fashionably late to SmackDown.
Like always.
Yeah.
Like always.
And so
part-time chief.
Part-time chief. Yeah. And so he got there.
Should be called the PTC, not the OTC.
Oh my gosh.
For part-time chief.
So he gets there. He asks Paul Heyman, "Is Punk here?" And then he pretty much calls out CM Punk, but who comes out? Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah.
Just kind of normal-ish. Not in his crazy.
And one thing is, he was actually wearing the same boots Bray Wyatt was wearing in his segment with The Undertaker on the Raw is 30 episode.
He was?
Mm-hmm.
Really? I gotta go back and watch that.
Yeah, if you go back and look at a picture, he's wearing the same boots Bray Wyatt wore in his segment with The Undertaker at Raw 30.
Wow.
So because Seth was really close to Bray.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a nice touching tribute. I didn't even notice until someone brought it up. I think I saw it on Twitter or Instagram. So I thought that was a neat touch. But yeah, Seth was dressed actually kind of normal for once.
Yeah, exactly. Not like the oven mitt outfit that he wore a couple weeks ago.
Or when he had those big red boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, so when we finally get to the main event segment, we finally find out what the favor is.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that favor?
Well, CM Punk talks about his days going back into starting WWE when Paul Heyman, brought him into OVW and they transitioned him to the main roster in 2006. Eventually, Paul Heyman went away, and they talked about that night Paul Heyman went away on Big Show's bus, and they talked about when you main event WrestleMania, you're going to have to deal with us. And flash forward all these years later, CM Punk is main eventing WrestleMania. So the favor is that Roman Reigns is going to have to deal with us, meaning CM Punk and Paul Heyman.
Yes, so the wise man will not be in Roman's corner. And Roman's like, tell him no. And Paul Heyman's like, no, my tribal chief, I cannot do that. So there's some tension there.
But the whole time, Seth Rollins is cackling in the back.
Because he called it.
Yeah.
He called it. So it'll be interesting to see how the match plays out.
It could be a thing where CM Punk is trying to control Heyman, and then Roman Reigns is trying to control Heyman. I could see a situation happening where Paul Heyman is just
he gets conflicted,
and he leaves,
and he's just like, screw all of this, I don't need this.
Yeah, and that's where Seth Rollins picks up the victory.
Yep.
But next week we'll talk about it.
Yes, we will give our predictions next week. And what else happens? Oh, we got confirmation that's going to be Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Mm-hmm. That'll be a good match. I think that has potential to be a good match.
So, a bit of history for this match. This is going to be the first singles match for the women without a championship on the line. So, if you think about it, there's been some evening gown matches. There's been some weird mud wrestling at WrestleMania 19 between forgot who, Tori Wilson and
but a legit
wrestling match, 1-on-1 without the women's championship being on the line. Yeah, we've seen battle royals, we've seen multi, but not a legit singles match between two women.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. And also speaking in the history, it's last year they were teammates at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Her, Naomi, and Bianca. And now this year they're opponents. So I think having Jade's first singles match at WrestleMania against Naomi, I think that's a great choice because Naomi's a phenomenal talent. She's a great wrestler. Jade Cargill has made improvements since she's been in WWE, so there's a lot of potential. And the story, they have a hot storyline right now. Like,
yeah. Oh, you know what? We forgot to cover the Intercontinental title match was the main event of this past Monday Night Raw. We forgot to cover the women's world title match.
oh yeah, the women's world title match. With Rhea, Io, and Bianca as a special guest referee, and we saw a double DQ.
We did,
and so it's going to factor in of like how is the double DQ going to play into the WrestleMania match? Is this how Rhea gets in?
Mm-hmm. I think so. They're just wasting time, really. But it's everyone already knows that it's going to be a triple threat match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and there's no way they're leaving Rhea Ripley off the WrestleMania card.
Exactly.
There's no way.
And so probably next week it's official. Adam Pearce, a triple threat match. Somehow, some way they're going to announce it. So,
yeah.
But a good match between the two, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley with Bianca Belair as special guest referee. And so that was a good match on Raw. Obviously, they're really saving what they have for WrestleMania, but yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot too. We were talking about Braun versus Penta. I realized that was the Monday before.
Yeah.
Because this past Monday was Braun Breaker and Penta.
Right.
Versus Finn and Dom.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So sorry for the mix up there.
But it's also been kind of hard to remember because these Monday Night Raws, the past ones have been at 12 o'clock noon. So it feels like later than what it is.
Yeah, because we're used to watching it at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it's been an adjustment to watch it at 12, but tomorrow it'll be back at its original time.
Right.
So
exactly. But going back to SmackDown, so we talked about the favor. Other big news on SmackDown, which incredibly sad news, is Kevin Owens having to go undergo surgery on his neck.
I heard he could be out for 2 years, maybe more.
You texted me that it's a work, and it's not a work. It's legit, it just makes you think man, the guy. Okay, so the guy went through that hellacious match at the Royal Rumble, where he got put in that spot through the ladder.
Then he had that hellacious match with Sammy at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
The unsanctioned match. Because he says he got hurt in December.
Right.
I think he said he was wrestling a match on SmackDown when it happened.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's sad that Kevin Owens won't be able to wrestle Randy Orton at WrestleMania this year. But we did get a hint of where Randy Orton will be wrestling, who he will be wrestling at WrestleMania.
Could we see Nick Aldis make his in-ring return?
Now, this is actually long-term storytelling because if you remember, it was several months back. I think it was at the beginning of last year, whatever time it was. Randy Orton RKO'd Nick Aldis in the middle of the ring. And I think the next week he gave Nick Aldis a check for
Define in advance. He says this is for the next time.
This is for the next time. So you know what? That next time was last Friday night on SmackDown. So we'll see what happens. Could this be a match between Nick Aldis? Does he have enough time to prepare for a match? Or does the match go in another direction? We'll see.
Is it potential for an open challenge?
Could be.
Because it's just been confirmed that Rusev Day is back. It hasn't been officially announced by WWE, but it's been confirmed that he signed a contract to return to WWE.
Which he has, I believe.
Yeah. So, could it be could we see Rusev versus Randy? Could we see Aleister Black versus Randy? I just saw an interesting fact. It was from 2019. Aleister Black issued an open challenge and Randy Orton replied to it on Twitter.
Yeah.
So,
who knows?
Who knows? It'll be interesting to see because now there's a whole bunch of endless possibilities for who Randy's going to face at WrestleMania.
Right.
It's another one of those. Oh, we're definitely gonna get some sort of surprise,
Absolutely.
whether it's a return or a debut of some sort.
Right.
So everybody's saying, "Oh, add him to the Cody Cena." No,
You can't do that.
No,
That match is already set in
No,
stone.
yeah.
You can't mess with that.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting, and there's no way they're gonna keep Randy Orton off the WrestleMania card. There's no way.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's unfortunate he can't wrestle Kevin Owens, but you can't leave Randy Orton off the card.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been seeing memes. It's just like this is gonna be Randy Orton at WrestleMania 41, and it was Bobby Lashley when he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 39,
Yeah.
and he came out to like celebrate. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is gonna be Randy Orton at WrestleMania 41."
Exactly. But yeah, just a few things. On SmackDown, you had Tiffany and Charlotte. Let's talk about that.
They went completely off the script.
I get the sense that they may not like each other.
Yeah, I definitely think they do not like each other because they went off the script, and apparently they went off script so much that WWE actually removed their personal comments from like their social feed.
Yeah.
About like the 0-3 line, or Kaiser's in my DMs.
Yeah.
WWE removed those off their social accounts. So
yeah, they probably scrubbed those, and yeah, we're not going to see them in any highlight packages or anything like that.
Yeah, but yeah, they totally went off the script, and like I will say, Tiffany got the upper hand on Charlotte in this segment.
She did, but it just felt like
it felt really like uncomfortable and awkward.
Yeah,
but also like the Chicago crowd did not like Charlotte. Like it was weird because Charlotte's usually fine with handling the crowd. She choked under the pressure from the Chicago crowd.
Yeah, she didn't know what to say.
Yeah, she was like, you could see it on her face. She's just like, I don't know.
It stems back from like when Charlotte returned from injury. She gave this like passionate speech after she won the Royal Rumble. I think it was on SmackDown. She talked about how coming back from her ACL injury.
Yeah, she's like, I really did miss you guys. She's like, I really am trying to like connect with you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and
she got like super emotional. Yeah.
And they booed her, and then tonight, not tonight, Friday night on SmackDown, the crowd just gave it to her, and she didn't know how to reply, and you could tell it kind of like shook her up a little bit, and she goes, "I'll let you have the last word." She didn't know what to say.
Yeah, and then when she was called a nepo baby, she's like, "I'm the nepo queen, the number one nepo baby." It just like, I don't know. The segment just felt like really. It got really awkward really fast, and it felt really uncomfortable. Like you can even see Wade Barrett there in the corner. He's just like, he doesn't know what to do.
So hopefully they can resurrect. It's kind of like the Jey Uso and Gunther thing has been better, but it's kind of reminiscent in the way that the Jey Uso and Gunther feud kind of plateaued. This is just I think it's just like a sinking ship here.
They had their hottest segment was when they had their brawl.
Yeah.
Like I think what was it like 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. That was like their peak.
Other than that, I mean, it's been a sinking ship, and hopefully they can resurrect a good to great match at WrestleMania, which I think they can. Two great, phenomenal athletes in there.
Tiffy time.
Yeah, the crowd in Vegas is going to be for her.
Pro Tiffy for sure. I know I'll be pro Tiffy.
Yeah. Exactly. It's always Stiffy time.
You will, yeah.
Exactly.
AKA Stiffy time.
Exactly. There was a sign. Did you ever see that? Did I send that to you?
I think you did. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What was it? Said it's Stiffy time. Yeah.
Exactly.
Some of these signs are wild, man. Like
exactly. But yeah, then you had the debut of Rey Fenix. Yeah.
I thought his match was
It wasn't as good as Penta's debut.
Yeah. I mean, he had a lot of potential, but
I thought it was good. It just wasn't like Penta's debut was pretty great because not only was the crowd reaction there, Phoenix did get a good crowd reaction, but I think Penta's debut was like the perfect storm.
Also because he was wrestling Chad Gable, who's extremely underrated.
Exactly, Chad Gable can put on he's one of those wrestlers that can put on a good match with the broom.
Yeah,
and so you had a great match between those two. Rey Fenix, had a match with what's his name?
Nathan Frazier
from Fraction, as R-Truth would call it, Fraction. Yeah. Where's Fraction at?
Yeah, but I thought the match was okay. Yeah. I definitely think Rey Fenix has a lot of potential.
Yeah,
and it'll be curious to see if we get a Lucha Brothers reunion in the future.
Yeah.
But right now they're on different brands.
Yeah.
So I wonder if maybe they're doing that because they want to see how they do on their own first.
Yeah.
And then maybe they'll
At some
eventually
point they
reunite
will.
them.
Yeah.
But I feel like they want to see how they do as solo competitors.
But it's good to see Ray Phoenix in WWE because he
Yeah.
was kept, hostage in AEW.
It's been a long time coming. You could tell he's happy.
And,
you could tell he's happy to be in WWE.
Exactly. And he said the line at the end of it saying,
I've been wanting to say this for years.
Yeah.
I am WWE.
Right, exactly.
So he did give an impassioned promo.
Yeah.
I did like his promo.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a good talker.
And then you had pirate looking Drew McIntyre.
Because he had real glass in his eye. Yes, real glass.
Real glass. Yeah. It just reminds me of the whole Jack Perry thing from AEW and CM Punk. But anyways, that feud is, I would say it's not bad, but it's not great. It's pretty mid to me. I think with a lot of these feuds coming up at WrestleMania, the build-up has just been kind of not where it's supposed to be. But I think at WrestleMania, we're going to see a payoff where these matches, Drew and Priest, they're going to put on the best match possible.
Yeah, it's been like a formula lately. Like usually the matches that don't get a lot of build end up being show stealers.
Right.
Especially these past PLEs, some of the matches I don't care about that match, and it ends up being one of the better matches on the show. So
exactly,
there's a lot of potential for great matches on this card.
Now, hopefully they have a better match than what they did at was it not Money in the Bank? Was it Money in the Bank when Priest had that
Clash at the Castle?
Was it Clash at the Castle?
Clash at the Castle
when Priest had that
when Priest forgot to kick out. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or no, not that. That was against Seth, but when he got his foot stuck in the ropes. Yeah.
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 So hopefully it's a better match than what we've seen in the past, and I think these two guys can. Absolutely. Any other thoughts on SmackDown and WWE from the week?
No, I definitely feel like it's starting to feel like the road to WrestleMania now.
It's beginning to feel a lot like WrestleMania.
Yep, the best time of the year.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm just really excited. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, and then we also got confirmation that there's going to be a women's tag team tournament match, and the winners will face Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another match that got confirmed for WrestleMania.
I thought they were going to do Bayley and Roxanne Perez, but
I guess Roxanne's main roster call up is on hold.
Probably till after.
Yeah, probably.
Exactly. But yeah.
So.
No. Definitely.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is Bayley and Bayley and Lyra Valkyria are in that tag match. So it's weird, but who knows? Maybe there'll be some sort of tension, and we'll see Bayley versus Lyra for the women's IC title.
They should have one of those women's titles on one of those cards because now that we don't know what's going to happen with Randy Orton, there's definitely plenty of space for it to add a women's Intercontinental Championship.
Randy Orton will just put a wig on,
or we're going to see Santina Morella.
Oh God. Maybe Randy will put a wig on.
Exactly.
So,
but Vegas, 2 weeks, guys. We're going to be out there. Let us know if you're going to be out there. You don't have to come say hi, but just let us know if you're going to make the trip. Who's going to WrestleMania this year? I know the tickets have been outrageous.
Hey, prices have been dropping, so get them now.
Yeah, we spent money on tickets, and then they drop. Yeah.
Yeah, he's all butthurt about it.
Exactly.
I'm fine. I'm good.
But you got your SmackDown tickets, so you're going to SmackDown.
Yes, sir. SmackDown.
Exactly.
SmackDown. He's not, because he's yeah.
I don't really see the need to go to SmackDown.
He wants to.
I want to gamble. Exactly. Or strip club. Who knows? But we'll see. All right. Any other lasting thoughts, Ryan?
Let's go, Cena.
Let's go, Cody.
Go win number 17.
Exactly.
Nobody cares about Stardust. He finished his story. His story's boring now.
Nobody cares about a washed-up prototype.
He can do this part-time better than Cody can full-time.
Bald spot.
Cena can do this part-time better than Cody can full-time.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Until next time, it's Rasslin, Ryan.
Yes, sir.